Britons who test negative for COVID twice in a week are set to receive a freedom pass and a government scheme that will allow them to live a normal life. It is hoped the scheme could allow Britons to go back to a relatively normal life. To earn a freedom pass, people will need to get a negative test twice a week. Pass will allow people to mix with families and friends without distancing or masks. Do you actually understand what this says? We have to earn a freedom pass, meaning we are not free. And they are admitting that they are keeping us oppressed unless we comply. Anyone else see this, or is it just me? Britons are set to be given a COVID freedom pass as long as they test negative for the virus twice in a week, it has been suggested. The details of the scheme are still being ironed out by the officials in Whitehall, who hope it will allow the country to get back to normal next year. To earn a freedom pass, people will need to get tested regularly, and provided the tests come back negative, then they will be given a letter, card or document they can show people as they move around. Yeah, we've seen this in history before. The certificate would be stored on a phone according to the sources, and would allow people to live a relatively normal life until the government's vaccination programme gets up to speed. It is thought it would even allow Britons to get away without wearing a mask, it is thought, and visit family and friends without the need to social distance. Well, this is what they're telling you, and this is how it's sold in the media, and we know the media are working with the government to keep us oppressed. A source told the Telegraph they will allow someone to wander down the streets, and if asked by someone else why they are not wearing a mask, they can show a card or letter. It comes after former Health Secretary Jeremy Hunt threw his backing behind the Freedom Pass concept. His proposal suggests far less testing, however, with calls for Britons to be tested just once a month before being given their certificates. His suggestion follows recommendations by behaviour experts advising Downing Street. Who said those not infected with the virus should be handed paper wristbands to allow them to return to a more normal life. See, not completely normal, they don't want that. Now, in some of my previous videos, I have voiced my concerns on health passports, or as our governments decided to call them, freedom passes. As unlike other people I know, I read into things, rather than believing what we are told. I came across this a while ago, and that's why I talked about health passports. This is from the World Economic Forum website. You know, the same people putting in place their agenda through the Great Reset. They call them immunity passports. Is this all coincidence or all part of their agenda? I know what I think. How about you? Here are a few points from this paper. Faced with deep global recession, governments around the world are considering the use of immunity passports to allow a degree of normality to return. Chile may be one of the first countries to put such a scheme into action, but the idea is proving controversial. Among the measures being considered by governments, including Chile, Germany, Italy, Britain, that's us, and the US, are immunity passports, a form of documentation given to those who have recovered from COVID-19. Only our governments aren't using them for that, are they? They're using them as a form of control. Do as we say or you're not free. The WHO also raises questions about the validity of results from some of the tests on the market, which it says are not sufficiently sensitive or accurate.
The challenge is that the false positive rate is very high. So only 7% of tests will be successful in identifying those that actually have the virus.
Some experts think enforcing two-tier restrictions on who can and cannot socialise or go to work also raises legal and practical concerns, and that it could have an adverse effect of incentivising people to seek out infection to avoid being excluded. And, as such, existing inequalities could worsen, not least the economic divide, potentially exaggerated by some being excluded from work when others aren't. This should concern everybody. What they are implementing is different to what is said here, but it's along the same lines and it follows the Great Reset agenda.
We need a great reset.
We have a unique but rapidly shrinking window of opportunity to learn lessons and reset ourselves on a more sustainable path. It is an opportunity we have never had before and may never have again. So we must use all the levers we have at our disposal, knowing that each and every one of us has a vital role to play.
Now is the time to think what history would say about this crisis. And now is the time for all of us to define our own role. What is it that would make it so that history would look at this crisis as the great opportunity for reset?
The Great Reset is a welcome recognition that this human tragedy must be a wake-up call. It is imperative that we reimagine, rebuild, redesign, reinvigorate and rebalance our world. Rebalancing investment, harnessing science and technology, and advancing the transition to net zero emissions, all elements of the Great Reset, are fundamental to building the future we need.
We must not miss this unique window of opportunity.
Yes, Klaus, you must take this opportunity before people wake up and see what's happening in the world. I, for one, do not stick to this narrative. I refuse to push the fear into my children. Who knows, maybe I'm all wrong. Some people call me a conspiracist. I prefer to call myself a cynic. I'll leave all the links to the method to my madness in the description. Please check them out. Let me know what you think in the comments and please share the video on. As always, thank you for watching.